Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is our final Borrasca video. I am so sad that this story is over, but we are in for a treat in our final 2 episodes, which is crazy. I can't believe it. We're getting 2 episodes back to back. So it is currently 11:38 at night on Monday the 13th. So I'm listening to the episode for the first time right now. I'm filming the first half tonight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get up and then I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna film the second half and I'm gonna post it before I have an appointment tomorrow. So I am very tired, but we're doing this. We're doing this for Borrasca. We're doing this for Cole. Before we start, I want to congratulate the entire Borrasca team for an amazing, amazing story that they gave us. It was thrilling. It had the creepiness. I loved every second of it. I think as fans, we also need to give a huge congratulations to Cole. This is something that he's never done before, and he knocked it out of the park. So to star and produce in this podcast was unbelievable. He did an amazing job, and cannot wait to see what else he comes up with for this form of media. I want you guys to make sure you put in the comments your favorite episode of Borrasca, what you guys enjoyed about my recaps. I feel like a lot of people connected with my recaps because I was able to just like break it down, and I had so much fun doing it. And if there's anything else you guys want me to cover, just like let me know down below, or on Twitter or on Instagram. You know, I'm very accessible for you to reach. Okay, I need to stop talking before I start crying because I cannot believe that my first like full series on this channel is over. This is the reason why I started my channel, to talk about Borrasca and share the joy that it brought me, and the pride I felt to be a fan of Cole Sprouse in this project. I have too many words. So without further ado, here is the finale of Borrasca. All right, I just finished part 1. I'm so emotional. It's not even funny. I'm emotional about it ending and about what happened in part 1. All right, let's just start the first half of our recap. The last one, oh my god. Oof. If I cry, like, don't worry about it. So this time, instead of at the top, we don't start in the office. We start back at home, and Eric is waking Sam up, and he's telling him that it's snowing outside. I don't know if we ever knew that they were living in Chicago, but they're living in Chicago. So the snow there gets pretty bad in the winter time. And Sam's like, well, I need your pee because I'm going. And Eric's like, well, too bad, I don't have to. And Sam just gives up. He's like, okay, fine. And he leaves. And he has a bunch of reference papers before he leaves. Eric stops and goes, what's in the folder? He goes, a bunch of references. Leah's gonna help me find a job. And he goes, so should I send that other girl away? He goes, for a job? Yeah, but I'm still gonna need the dope. And like the drugs and stuff. And Eric tells him, he goes, you are gonna end up either back in prison or dead. And Sam goes, yeah, I know. And that broke my heart because although he's making all this progress, he's not getting better until he talks to Leah. So he gets to Leah's office and he walks in and he goes, well, should I keep the door open or closed? And she goes, open, because you have to go pee. And he goes, if I give you a urine sample, I'm going back to jail. And I found that very admirable that he was so honest with her, I think, because he trusts her. And I think he trusts that she's not going to do anything to jeopardize him at this point, because he's so close to getting better, or like being willing to take the next step, that she's going to fight for him. She says, we will deal with that another time. She goes, but you really should consider rehab. And he goes, I thought you want to finish the story. And she goes, I do. He goes, let me finish it, and then I'll consider rehab. And she was like, okay. And he goes, do you remember where we left off? And she just flat out says, Kimber's dead. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, that's so much. So Sam wants to go and find Kimber. Like, him and Kyle are still going every morning to find her, or to look for her. So for now, all these mile markers, we know that they're not victim markers. And his dad is trying to stop him. And he's getting pissed at him. He's like, don't drive off in that car, da-da-da-da. But Sam goes anyway. Gets to Kyle's house, picks him up. And, you know, Kyle's like, you don't know anything. Like, you're so desperate to find out the truth. Like, when your dad really knows everything. Like, and he goes, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But they go, and they run into Sam's boss, Mira, who we met a few episodes ago, who was having trouble getting pregnant with her husband and was freaking out in the store. And she's like, you guys are looking for, like, an ancient tale. And he goes, she was like, you haven't been at work. You know, everyone's been covering for you. And Kyle then congratulates her on being pregnant. And Sam's like, what? Like, you just had a fight with your husband that you weren't fertile. Like, what's going on? And she's like, you guys shouldn't go. Like, Borrasca's not real. And Sam basically is like, we're doing this. I'm not coming to work. I quit. And then she's like, I can't run the store by myself. I'm pregnant. Da, 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 da. And he's confused on how she's pregnant. Kyle's like, yeah, she's like 16 weeks according to my mom. And he's like, what? That doesn't make sense. But now they go a different way up the mountain to find Borrasca. And they find bones, like a bunch of bones to an animal. Which is actually like in that poster that I actually won from Q Code. And you see the bones there. And they don't know what it is. But they realize later that it's a horse, and it's mile marker 49, and they realize it's that girl Phoebe, which I think was Whitney's friend that ended up going missing also. It's starting to get dark, so they go back down, and there's a Borrasca party happening right there, which makes sense because we heard a scream last week, and they think it's Kimber's Borrasca party. That's because Kimber went missing. And Saunders is there, and Saunders and Kyle start fighting because Saunders like, I never loved Kimber, like, you don't know what you're talking about. And Kyle's like, why would you lie to her, da 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 da, going on, and they are like punching each other, and Saunders' friend is trying to break it up with Sam, and Sam's like, nope, this is not our fight. Saunders deserves this. Let them be. They finally break it up, and Kyle and Sam leave, and Kyle thinks he broke ribs, that he got broken ribs from Saunders. He's like, it was worth it. We need to keep going. So they decide to go again the next day at 6. Kyle wants to go a little bit earlier, but Sam's like, it's not going to be daylight, so it's not worth it. He goes to Kyle's house. Parker, Kyle's brother, opens the door and is like, he already left, you know? And he ends up getting in touch with Kyle, and he's like, and Kyle asks him to bring him food. They meet up, and he goes, what time did you go? And he goes, 3 a.m. And he's like, shit, like, you said 6. And they're going back and forth, and this next part, like, broke my heart. When Kyle started speaking, I was like, dude, I feel you, but come on. And what he says, he goes, I don't know how much longer I can take this before I kill myself. And Sam freaks out on him. He goes, how dare you say that? Like, I'm your friend. And he goes, yeah, you are my best friend. That's why I tell you everything, you know? And Sam gets really worked up about it. Sam has this idea that they go to the town historical society to find out more information about Borrasca and about the mountains. So they drive to the school where they're located, and they run in and they meet up with Catherine, who they met up a few Borrasca parties ago, and they talk to her about the history of the town of So they ask about it, and she's like, do you even know what Borrasca is? And they're like, besides like the tall tale like monster. And she goes, it's a mine that goes dry. So that means there's no gold, no silver, whatever they're looking for the mine. And so there's a lot of dry ones, so it's always the first one. So that's where they think Borrasca exists, and that's where all these girls and people are. So Catherine helps him. She's going to go look for the map of the mine. So she goes to a different room, and they're like searching the office, and there's a locked drawer, and they get it unlocked, and there's a list of 40 mines and the years that they closed. And they found the first one, the earliest number is 1939. So that is number 8. So that's the oldest mine that closed. So she gives them the map, she comes back, and they take the map, and they're like, okay, perfect, let's go. She warns them that the old mines get deadly if you get too close, and they're like, well, be careful. And they're like, where's the number 8? And it's by Amber Cott. So they go back over there, and then Sam goes to the tree, and Kyle's like, don't even bother, like, why? He goes, no, I have to see, like, if there's a fresh name. And there is. And this part, I wish I filmed myself. I was just so tired, I forgot to press record. And I literally gasped. I was like, holy crap. Kyle's name is on the tree. And Sam realizes, he goes, that's why you're acting weird. That's why you're saying that you don't care if you kill yourself. Because you want to. Like, your name is here, so now you're looking forward to it. You want it to happen. And he goes, yeah, because I want to be with Kimber. Kimber's the love of my life. And it's going on and on. And Sam's like, I understand that. But come on. So they're walking. They're following the map to the mine. And there's like this pond with like really dirty water. And Kyle's like, don't go in there. And Sam's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So Sam looks and sees a vanity, and then they open the drawers, and there's a number 33 in it. So that was mile marker 33. They look up, and there's a trampoline in the tree. So bizarre. And that's mile marker number 20. And then they say this thing, they're like, how did they get this shit up here? And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what? It really doesn't make sense. Then they see a painting, there's a 39 across it. Then they see like one of those room dividers, like those changing things that, like, it's very old, like back in the olden days they would do it. I think they're very cute. So like girls would go behind it and get changed. And that is number 44, and they said that was that girl Krista. She also went missing very early on, or a few episodes ago. And then oh, no. Okay, so Krista was Whitney's friend. She went missing first. That's 44. The girl Phoebe, whose horse's bones, that was 49. That was their friend. Now, it's all coming back now. And then Kyle's like, let's not go this way. Let's go a different way. And Sam's like, no, come on, let's go. Like, that's the easiest way. And he goes, trust me, you don't want to go this way. And Sam's like, no, come on. And he passes him, and then he sees it. And the entire time I'm like, what are they going to see of Whitney's? When is Whitney's thing coming? Like, when is it? When is it? When is it? And this was that moment. And they see it is Whitney's dollhouse that her father, so Sam's father, built for her. And it says mile marker number 45. And Sam freaks out. He's like, he knew the whole time. There's no way he would have known that that was missing. Like, he is freaking out. Rightfully so. I totally get it. And they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Kyle at one point is like, we are so close that they can hear you. Just shut up. And he like lets him have his moment. And like Kyle's such a good friend. He lets Sam freak out. Sam freaks out at him about his dad. They're going back and forth, like, and then, you know, he takes a moment. He's like, okay, how much farther? And Kyle goes, there's no much farther, because it's right there, past those trees. And then, so they see it, and the episode fades out. I don't know if I had to wait a week. I don't know what I would do. I'm so glad I only have to wait a few hours. All right, so that's the end of part 1. That was the place where bad things happen, part 1. In a few hours, part 2 will be posted, and then I will film it, but you guys get it right here. Good morning, everyone. It is a good morning just because it is 7:20 in the morning, so I am up pretty early to get this done. The description says that's the stunning conclusion, and I really think it will be. I'm already crying. I just can't believe now it's like officially done. You know, there are rumors that there might be a season 2, which would be awesome. I'll give my thoughts on that after I finish listening to it and after I do my recap. Oh my god, why am I crying? Jesus Christ. I have no other words. I hope I have words later after my recap so I can put a nice little bow on this experience. But for now, here is the last episode of Borrasca, the place where bad things happen, part 2. Here we go. Oh my god, I'm shaking. I just can't believe it's over, so I'm gonna cry a lot. Don't mind me. I always cry at series finales. Like, whenever a series finale is on, I just sob. So please don't mind this. Even though I hope this isn't a series finale, I really hope there's a season 2 because that cliffhanger was insane. Okay. Oh my god, my heart is racing. Okay, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just talk about it. So they start right where they left off. Kyle and Sam get to the mine and they go in. But before they go in, they see a sign and they can't read it. You know, some of the letters are off, and Sam is like, I think it said Drisking Underground Mine. But all that's left is, and he lists all these letters, and Kyle's like, fuck, that's skinned men. And he's like, damn, like, shit, like, So they see a bunch of cars, and including a police cruiser, so it adds to that they know that the police is behind this whole thing. And they hear laughter, and they see the guys carrying a dead body with blonde hair. They saw a machine and they put the girl in the machine, and the machine is what makes that screaming noise that they've heard forever. And then the girl like disappears, and they hear the guys say, like, when you grind the body down, there's nothing left. And what was that girl's name? Who replaced that one? And we hear something like Hannah or something. They don't know the name. They don't care about the name. That's the most important part of that. So Sam wants to leave and get more help. He's like, I'll call the FBI. We'll call the police. Like, and Kyle's like, no, we're here. And he goes, I'm going in and I'm getting Kimber. Like, that's it. And oh my god, I can't. I'm like crying. And Sam's like, fine, okay. But they have a plan that once they get Kimber, they're gonna then call the FBI and stuff like that. And Kyle's like, deal. So they are like waiting behind a door. So they go to like the bigger building, they're waiting behind a door, and you hear the girls crying and crying and crying about it. And they open it up, and there's like 30 girls in beds, chained to beds, or like, you know, like attached to the beds. And then, you know, they're like, help me, help me, help me. And they're like, well, come back. I need to help my friend first. And Sam opens the door, and he sees a guy raping Phoebe. And you're just like, But now it makes sense on who it is. We'll get to that. And then you hear Kyle in the background, and he's like, Sam, Sam, Sam. And then Sam runs, and they found Kimber. She's alive for what they know. She's just drugged, and she's tied to the bed from her wrists and her ankles. They get her out, and they're about to leave, and Sam stops at what I think is like another door, or like a hallway. And Kyle's like, Sam, let's go. And he goes, you take Kimber. I need this. And he takes her out, and then he goes through and he finds Whitney, and she's also alive. And he goes, why is she bloated, and why is she like not talking? She's pregnant from getting raped. She doesn't speak. And when I couldn't really differentiate these voices. I couldn't tell who it is, but now I think it was Jimmy Prescott telling Sam she's pregnant, and, you know, this isn't the first one. You know, we sell the kids and all this stuff. And Sam's like just dumbfounded. He's trying to get Whitney to get up and go with him. And then all of a sudden, Cleary comes in with Kyle. And so they got caught. Kimber isn't with Kyle, so that means he got her out. And Prescott and Cleary question them, just like, what are you doing? Like, you know, basically, they want to know how much they saw to see if they have to kill them. But Jimmy Prescott full on beats the crap out of Kyle. And the Prescott and Cleary didn't expect them to find the place. They were like, we can't believe we found, like, they couldn't believe that they actually found it. So Kyle's like on the floor, and Sam's like, they think, Prescott and Cleary think they killed Kyle. And the next thing, they were like, now we have to kill Sam. And he's begging. He goes, no, please, let me take him to the hospital. Let me take my sister. And they were like, yeah, like, only one, you know? Basically, they're giving him an ultimatum. And they're finally like, here's the keys to my truck. Take Kyle to the hospital. He doesn't want to leave her, but he said he'll come back for her. He drives Kyle to the hospital. And this is when things started getting really weird, and I didn't appreciate it. He keeps asking for information, and the nurse is like, I can't give it to you even if I wanted to, because you're just as guilty. And he's like, what? And she goes, when his mom is here, if she wants to give you information, then that's fine. His mom shows up, and she full on blames Sam for doing this. She believes that Sam beat the shit out of Kyle. He goes, it wasn't me. And when his dad gets there, she is yelling at his dad, arrest him, I don't care, he's your son. He did this to my son. So they're driving, and Sam goes, what's up with Kyle? And he goes, he's barely alive. But if he's dead, then I can't even stop you from going to prison. He goes, I don't care if I go to prison at this point. I need to know that Kyle's okay. And he tells, and nothing is getting through to his dad. He goes, why aren't you, like, you know, I can't think of the word. Why aren't you taking this seriously? And he then mentions Kimber was up there. Whitney was there. Her dollhouse was there. How did it get there? And he pulls a gun on Sam and puts it right to his face. And he's like, get out of my car. You're no longer my son. And in your head, you're just like, he knew the whole time. What a jackass. I literally was like, he's an asshole. Like, you knew the entire time that you sold your daughter. And the worst part is he probably sold his daughter for the position of sheriff. Like, oh my God, like, you are a disgusting human being. And so Sam gets out of the car, and then we're back with Leah, and it's like 9 o'clock. So he was there for 3 hours telling her all of this. And Leah believes him 100%. Leah's like, what you're saying is true. And he's like, yeah. What do you think? Do you think I would make this up? This is insane. And she asked about Kyle, and Sam tells us that he was in a vegetative state. He probably still is after getting beat up. And he went to go visit, you know, only Kyle's brother was home, and he fought his way, and he went to go see him, and he tried to talk to him, but there was no one there. And that's so heartbreaking at that point. I'm just like, ugh. And everyone believed that Sam did that to Kyle. He ended up living in a hotel for a few, like, months until his money ran out. Then he lived behind the hotel. And it was just so heartbreaking to hear that, like, no one believed him. And it's been 10 years, and he's like, the girls are probably still up there. And then Leah asked the all-important question, what happened to Whitney? And he says, 2 weeks after all that, Mira had a baby. And she goes, I thought she was only 16 weeks. And he goes, you're not listening. She was never pregnant. And so he believes that Whitney's baby went to Mira, and then he thinks she died. Which I do too. I really do think she died now. Because things that they were saying, like, this is like her last one, and then she's dying. And she goes, did you try, like, getting the FBI? And he goes, what do you think? Of course I did, but nothing ever happens. They don't believe me. Then she says, what about Kimber? And this is when the bomb is dropped. Well, one of the first bombs. It was a letter he got a postage from California, and he says, Kimber sent this to me. And she goes, Kimber wrote you a letter? And he goes, no, Kimber sent this to me. There's a difference. And he starts reading it, and it said, Dear Kimber, and then right away, and she goes, Dear's a little too formal. And I was like, oh my God, either this is from her father, or this is her mother's suicide note. And it was her mother's suicide note. And the reason why they wouldn't let anyone see it and it went missing was because she tells the entire story about how it started decades ago. And it started when the iron was getting into the water, and it was giving the women these enzymes which made them infertile. So they started taking fertile women, and it's sort of like Handmaid's Tale. If anyone's ever seen Handmaid's Tale, it's like a post-apocalyptic world where infertile women are seen superior, and then fertile women get kidnapped and It's exactly like that. So the fertile women get kidnapped and they are raped to having these kids, and they're sold to these other women. So they are going on and on about, so Kimber's mom is writing in this letter about all of that, how they're selling, it's a big child trafficking ring that was happening through the police, because Jimmy Prescott and then Killian Cleary is the one running it, so the police knew about it the entire time. And then they mentioned that whenever the economy started going down, they would sell the kids for triple the price to people outside of the town, which would lead to the Triple Tree, which is where they did all those exchanges. And then she drops another huge bomb about how they name the babies. Anybody that was named with a P is Jimmy Prescott's kids. And anybody with a name that starts with K is Killian Cleary's kids. So we find out that Kimber's actual biological father is Killian Cleary. So that means his mother was her mother was infertile, and she needed that. And the reason why they take the blood is so that way there's no incest happening. So we then know that if Kimber got raped by anybody, it was going to be by Jimmy Prescott. And so before, when they found Phoebe, that means Killian Cleary was raping her, because Phoebe starts with a P, so that'd be Prescott. So that was basically the letter, I think. Yeah, that was basically it. And then Leah's like, we're gonna put an end to this. She goes, I know people in sex crimes, everything. Like, she goes on and on about it. And she goes, can I keep this overnight to get a copy? And he goes, you can keep it. Like, I think now he's like, someone finally believes me. I'm going to, like, we're really gonna get this over with. She wants to meet with him at 8 a.m. the next day, so that way they can really get this rolling. And he's like, fine. And he trusts her a lot. And that relationship was very special. Then we get back home, and Eric's like, you're home late. And he goes, yeah, session ran long. And he goes, I need drugs. He goes, you already have heroin. And he goes, yeah, but that's not going to be enough. He goes, you have weed? And he goes, yeah, in the drawer. And it's like, really, it's not the weed that Sam likes. So it's like, it's not good weed. And he goes, was Tara about today? And he was like, no. And he goes, oh, okay. So then he calls, like, his other buddy, and he goes, I need, I need drugs. And he goes, you have money? And he goes, no, but I'll work. And he goes, okay, what he needs? And he goes, a lot. He goes, I don't have that much work. And he mentions Tara. He goes, but Tara's been here, like, every day hounding me for a job. And he goes, what? No, she hasn't. She's in jail. He goes, no, she's been here every single day. And you hear Eric in the background, I told you it wasn't Tara. And he is like, what? Sam is so confused. And his friend's like, I went to go see Tara today. She's in jail. And he goes, okay, I gotta go. And then Eric's like, I told you, it wasn't Tara. And then you hear the knock on the door. And they freeze. And Eric's like, I'll get it. And Sam's like, I'm gonna get it. Because he's like, who else has been wanting to see me and wants, like, to give me a job? And he opens the door. And, like, the anticipation was, I'm gonna cry again. Because I cried after this was, like, revealed. And you hear Kimber's voice. And we know Kimber is alive. And Kimber has been the one coming to see him. And Eric goes, And they look at each other and they're like, hi. Like, they couldn't believe it. And Eric is like, are you now going to introduce me? Like, give me your name now that you see him? And she goes, hi, I'm Kimber, and I need to borrow your friend here. And that's how it ended. When I tell you I cried, and I got chills when the reveal that Kimber was like alive and okay, and you know, she sounded fine, unlike Sam does, you know. It was insane. Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's over. I just want to say, I can't believe I called that the girl showing up was either gonna be Kimber or Whitney. I called that weeks ago, and then I was like, oh wait, no, now Kimber's dead, so it can't be, but Kimber never actually died. Wow. This story was so good. I'm actually gonna read Borrasca, like the full thing now. I wanted to listen to it first, and then maybe I'll do a nice little comparative video. God, it was... I didn't think it was going to be that good. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be that good, and I'm so happy it was. I really hope they do a season 2, because I think they can do a whole thing about them taking it down finally. And I want a conclusion. So I'm going to now go through the things that I want. I want Sam and his dad to go at it. And, you know, figure out why he didn't believe him. Like, what was his daughter worth to him? And I want Sam to beat the shit out of him. I want to know why Sam got addicted to drugs. Like, what really happened? Like, we never find that out, and we never find out why he went to jail. So I really want to know that. I want to know what Kimber and him are doing, you know. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I like really... Well, I think they could do like a whole like trial thing, you know. It's what I also enjoyed is that this is a story that should be told, because sex trafficking is so real and so sad, and it happens everywhere, you know. And it always happens, it mostly happens to women, of course, and you know, people always have to be careful. In the description below, I'm going to put some links to things to look out for if you're going to be getting sex trafficked. I know a few months ago, my boyfriend shared an article with me about sex trafficking, and a lot of the times these sex trafficking rings use women in order to get to trust other women. It's a tactic, because obviously, I mean, me as a woman, if a man comes up to me and tries to talk to me, I'm going to be like, no. But if a woman comes up to me and says, can I ask you something? I'm going to be more inviting, because there is this stereotype that women aren't going to harm women. You know, I would never harm a woman, you know, but, and in this article it said, if they ask you if they can talk to you about God being a woman, about the belief of that will most likely be a sex trafficking thing. Now, I'm not saying that like Ariana Grande's song is like about sex trafficking, because it's not. Hers is two totally different things. I want to make that clear before like we start conspiracy theory rabbit holes. But that I just want to let, I mean, I don't have a lot of viewers, but I want everybody to be aware and be smart and be informed about sex trafficking. And there's a lovely charity called Thorn. I will link them down below, and they try to stop sex trafficking and child trafficking. So I don't want to end this on a downer, so we're gonna like pep this up by just saying thank you to Q Code and Rebecca Klingel and Cole Sprouse and the whole team over at Borrasca for providing us with an amazing story to listen to for the past 2 months. It gave us something to do and something to look forward to. and it was absolutely amazing. We hope there's a season 2 just to wrap some storylines up. And I want to again congratulate everyone at Q Code and the whole Borrasca team, especially Cole, on this amazing project. I really hope we get more, but if not, this was Borrasca. I want to thank you guys for watching and for following me the past 2 months and leaving comments, and it's been amazing. It truly has been. This was just a whim quarantine thing to do, was to start this, and now I don't think I could stop. So I want to thank all of you guys, and I want to hope that you guys subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment below, follow me on Instagram and Twitter for updates about Borrasca and on all my other Riverdale content that I will be doing. And let me know what else you guys want to see. You know, maybe I could do other, like, do reviews of movies that, you know, the Riverdale cast is in. I've seen a lot of them, but I'm always willing to do a rewatch. You know, Chemical Hearts is coming out next month with Lily, her produced movie. She produced it and starred in it, and that's also a book which I ordered. I have to read it. So I think that's something else that I might do a little thing on. So let me know what else you guys want to see. I can't thank you enough. Once again, I've been saying this for the past 2 weeks, but one day my season 4 scenes, like, episodes will go up, the ranked episodes, but it's been a little crazy here now that we've been able, so I live in New York, and now that we're opened up a little bit, I've been really taking advantage of not being in the house, so that's just what's been going on. But I can't thank you guys enough, and I hope you look forward to the rest of my videos before Riverdale starts in January, and then we'll get some actual really good, like, reviews. But this is the end of Borrasca, season 1. Hopefully there'll be a season 2. Until then, stay weird, Riverheads.